I'm just trying to zone in on what he has. Oh, you know what? I was pretty sure he was going to recover, but I just heard some man say the Pope is dead. So I'm like, are you sure? I thought he was going to recover. He might actually have pneumonia. Pam says that the Pope has lung issues. Okay, so when he was younger, he lost part of his lung. Okay, well, that would make sense because that's what I was seeing, not COVID, but something respiratory. And I was thinking, oh, it must be pneumonia because he's having trouble with his breathing. They just said that he has an illness. They didn't say what kind of illness he had because that's what I'm seeing is like pneumonia. So the claim is the Vatican confirmed that Pope Francis and 2 aides tested positive for coronavirus. I just saw him having a respiratory illness, like pretty severe with his lungs. Or, geez, what's left of his lungs? I didn't know he had half of a lung removed. That makes it more dangerous for him. No wonder I heard that younger man say that the Pope is dead. Maybe that's what's going to happen from this respiratory illness, but it won't be coronavirus. So Stromboli and Etna would have to erupt. Somewhere in there is the collapse of Deutsche Bank, and then that and the death of the Pope, and then Campi Flegrei. And you can see how with what's going on in Europe right now, how if there is a major volcanic eruption in Italy that causes, millions of people to flee and destroys economies, that's going to kick stuff off even more than what's going on in France and Belgium and Germany. Well, I mean, I've already had my friend for 30 years come up and say, oh yeah, I always knew when Samantha was talking about something, she always felt like she had a heads up on the headlines with me. Hi, everybody. Today is Thursday, July the 30th, May 25th, February the 19th of 2025, July the 17th of 2024,
August 15th of 2023,
2022, 2021,
2020, and welcome to Ask a Medium.
Hi, everyone. Today is Wednesday, February the 19th of 2025. Nice to see you all in the house for Ask a Medium. What I felt was one of my most challenging workshops that I started a few years ago, just really flying by the seat of my pants. I didn't really know if I could do it like this or not. Thanks, Scott with 1T and Wayne for the 5x5. And for anyone new in the room or watching the replay, the rules are pretty simple with Ask a Medium. If you want to ask me a question in regards to your personal life, you have to be live and we go back and forth. Now, I understand sometimes people post questions and then they think they can make it, but then something happens. So I just started a little while ago, just kind of doing a one-off and seeing if I could hit the bullseye. And then so far I got 100% where everybody has written back and says, yes, like that's like what I'm talking about. And then I go, okay, well, let's see if the answer, I'm right about the answer. So, and my statistics are getting better and better. So yay. I wouldn't really be happy until I was over 90% anyways. So, because when you think about it, right? Especially if you're asking somebody about your health, I mean, you want that to be 100%. I know it took a while for me and one of the Sam Jammers to figure out what was wrong with him because I knew what it was and I told him, but every time he went for a test, it was always coming back negative. And then it was like a couple of years later, it's scary though when someone's losing weight like crazy, when it comes around again and they're like, yeah, that's what it is. One of the things I'm going to be doing is going through Searchy because I think the stuff that's going on with Campi Flegrei and the Pope approaching his potential death, because I said that's the last Pope. And the next one I saw fleeing Rome. And in the prediction, they did say that it would be the last Pope and that he would have to flee Rome. But they because there was a prediction saying that there was talk about talk about peace, and then suddenly calamity falls upon the world. Well, the talk about peace, that is just a signpost. Remember, I've been screwing up for years now. I learned the most about the stuff that went like that. I mean, Doge, hello. You see me describing Doge. You see me just starting first to talk about the cryptocurrency and then wandering into talking about corruption and all of that stuff that had nothing to do with the token or the coin Dogecoin.
Okay. Do you see Elon Musk actively getting involved in a crypto project in management capacity in the future? If so, which coin do you feel? Well, I mean, I think he's already made it pretty clear that Dogecoin, that's going to be his baby. And yeah, I do see him getting involved in cryptos at a minimum, endorsing them. It's going to be like the new hip, cool place to be, and this new technology that's being developed. Yeah, it's going to replace the old guard of elites. They're going to be all put out of business. But it was only because, again, it was the no talents. It was like the great-great-grandchildren of people who actually had the abilities. I mean, they were living off of generational wealth, but because of their spending and their wastefulness, and they were just sometimes people can make their brain lazy, so they get kind of stupid because they're not reading things, they're not learning about things. I mean, I'm sure many of the people here in the room are all, more and more. I need more information. That's what my mind is like. Like, teach me. I want to learn these things. Like, I'm not happy if I'm not expanding my knowledge on something. But I think that a lot of people who are involved in that lifestyle, that they're burning through a lot of their money and it's not being replaced. And that's why they get involved in these political scams, taking money on the side, or this, this greenhouse credits and all of that craziness.
So nuts to see that. But I learned so much from it. So here's the deal. I think that when the Pope, who's sick right now, when he passes away, that when the new Pope comes in, and then there's calamity, because they're still talking about peace right now. But a lot of people thought that Rome was on fire because of war, because they said, there was talk of peace and then calamity. Well, remember, the talk of peace, that's just a signpost. It doesn't mean that the opposite of peace happened, right? Well, peace and quiet, because if volcanoes are exploding, and again, and the key word being volcanoes, because I did correct myself when I was talking about Campi Flegrei, and then I talked about the volcanoes. And that was one of the things that we had discussed about the fact that the sky would be dark in the Northern Hemisphere for 2 years, and what would happen to make that happen. So timing wise, I think the Pope passes away because the newer Pope, the last Pope, and that Pope has to flee Rome because of the fire. But it's not because of war, it's because of the volcano. Naples is the main area, but in the red zone, there's like 500,000 people. So I wish I wasn't right about that number, because that's what I told Spencer back in 2020, late 2023. And we were doing, shall we play a game? And Spence was trying to pull out of me the details on the volcanic eruptions that were going to be happening during the time of the economic collapse. Anne Blue said, could the volcano be Mount Vesuvius? And actually, I was practicing for a new program called Shall We Play a Game with Spencer? And I think it's Campi Flegrei. Is that how you say it? One in Italy. That's a super volcano. It's
not sure. I could find it, but not sure. Doesn't come to mind. Yeah.
And then I keep talking more and more about it. And then I think about how Hold Gold, it was either Hold Gold or Bradley J. One of the two said that they had seen this before. Like I was getting very agitated about the potential attempted assassination on Donald Trump just before it happened. Like not talking about it at all, except to maybe answer a question that I would get about the assassination, saying, yes, they're going to try, but not be successful. And now, you guys know I was asked that a lot of times. And then I even went through a scenario where they were sort of fighting with each other who was going to do it, knowing that it was going to be the death penalty if they weren't successful and got caught. So we'll find that one, because I talked enough about it. But just going back to Campi Flegrei, learning my lessons, I'm like, okay, I got to help people get in front of this. And if I can pull out enough blabs that also pinpoint it, because I did that with the last hurricane, Milton, where the landing point was St. Petersburg, because you always pick like the largest city. And then I picked the point where it came out because I had brought the map up. And so where's the track? So St. Petersburg to, I guess, the Palm Coast was just below here, below Jacksonville. And then I went, oh, so again, the magic mouse, it showed us the path of the hurricane. So crazy. So we have to figure out this volcano thing, because there's 500,000 people sitting on this caldera. I don't know why I would call it caldera. You know what it is? Because I've read about this stuff and I just sort of skipped over the word and I never really learned the pronunciation for it. And then it was only recently that I heard people talking about it and they say caldera. So that's why. So I'll try to pronounce stuff correctly here. The Pope. So he dies. The new Pope is installed. Peace talks are being done right now with Ukraine. And see, I always thought it was June though, but it may happen sooner because of the peace talks. Oh, I hope not. Anyways, and then they say calamity and then it changes the whole world. And it will, because when the sky is dark in the northern hemisphere and then people are going to be trying to get south, it's not going to be good. You'll be okay in countries like the United States because the sort of safe zones will still be in the United States. Like you'll still be within your country. But, places like Canada, Russia, Western Europe, Iceland, United Kingdom, China. I mean, you know what I mean? The further north countries, but it's not anything that can't be handled, because we have electricity now, so we can, grow our food. It's just that you got to move quickly. Yeah, you got to move quickly. And the also thing too is with the water, and the water has, it becomes poisoned with the ash in it. But again, they just discovered this huge lake. I think it's in the United States underground. And it's bigger than Lake Erie or something. It's just a ridiculous size of fresh water, and it's encased. I mean, talk about having a Goldilocks country or what? You have enough fresh water in there to supply the world. Well, nature cleans out this garbage. Like I said, if you know what's coming, you can prepare for it. And even if it didn't happen till 100 years from now, but I don't think we're going to be that lucky, because the Pope, he looks like he's on his last legs. When I saw him, I was like, oh, he does not look good at all. Right? He's not a healthy looking 88-year-old. Yeah. I mean, if you're, you look healthy and you're in your 80s, you're probably going to make it to be a centurion. But yeah, there's no way. He's just got too many problems. And this might be it. And then that new Pope comes in. Yeah. Or any time now, really. Because when you think about it, and what happens is that so Rome ends up destroyed from the volcano, right? Like the ash that falls, and people will have evacuated by then, because not everybody has enough time, but, because people are foolish. They don't realize how dangerous it is to inhale that ash. They're more worried about stuff and survival and things. That's another thing about being able to get out of the way. I've been able to see the future for myself. So I was able to get out of the way of quite a few, major debacles that would have really set me back from the path that I'm on. So I'm thankful for that. So I'm going to be on Searchy. I'm going to be looking up that stuff. I'm going to see what I can put together, and maybe we can do something on a Rudy Psychic Meetup. And I was like, oh my God, I was right about so many things that even when you look at, at one point I had thought a few things and was able to back away from it because of what I had learned already from examining the blab. Oh, and if you guys want to check it out, I did launch the new Patreon, Psychic Nerds. So yeah, starting to upload stuff there as it comes out. I just put the last of everything, the weekly crypto review, because they get to look at the replay unedited. But the weekly crypto review is created only over on here on my channel. And but I am very happy to have, the Psychic Nerd set up because, like I said, I think that, our group will stay small, but, I think that as cryptos grow, and it's just, you're seeing now it's so important to have somebody who's not going to rip people off. And, I believe that Moo and anyone that we would bring on to help as things grew, that would be like number one, loyalty to the subscribers, because people entrust us with a lot, and they're really dependent on us to give good guidance and a proper opinion about things where it's not based on, somebody giving us a kickback. We're already seeing a lot of that with DOGE, like what happens to your political system when people are all in it for themselves. Freebie, free star. Hi, Sam. Excited to make another Ask a Medium. Could you please give another personal signpost for me to take profits? I missed the Middle East ceasefire run up as I was waiting for something to hit its all-time high. Thanks. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, I don't think that you should worry about that. I mean, maybe you have some things that you got to do, and that's fine. Yeah, I would say that we should definitely be taking profits by April, because if that Campi Flegrei, if that goes in June, I mean, it could go earlier, but I'm thinking that the peace talks are happening with Ukraine and on the euphoria of that. So once they announce that there's peace in Ukraine, the stock market's going to fly, gold will go down. Silver is probably going to, I mean, it'll take a little bit of a haircut, but I think it'll go, probably closer to $40 soon. I'm not too worried about silver and gold. Remember gold, silver, cryptos, right? And silver's gone up quite a bit. Gold, silver, cryptos. I mean, and if they got your gold and you got paper, you got nothing. Remember what I said about that? Yeah. Yes, I do agree. The peace talks are the beginning for actual peace. There's a blab. I blabbed quite a few times, Freestar, about, because a lot, of course, people ask that question a lot about the war in the Ukraine. And you can see that it's slowed down quite a bit because, like I said, they were like at a stalemate. They're just holding on by their fingernails, like just occasionally launching, damaging attacks here and there. But it's not, any type of blitzkrieg going on. And the Ukrainians are standing firm because, I mean, where else are they going to go? They can't go anywhere else. So yeah, it is going to be the beginning of the peace. And I think that NATO, knowing that it's on its last legs, that the Americans are probably leaving them. Just because, I mean, Europe, JD Vance said that European governments there are no longer sharing the values of the government in the United States. Right. And that's true. And I think that all of this going down is going to be a way that you can help it'll help these corrupt and stupid as well. Like a lot of them, it's just stupidity. I mean, sometimes I look at these people, I'm like, are you inbreds or something? Like, what is wrong? What has caused this low IQ, like across the board? Has life just been too easy for you? Well, it's going to get tougher for everybody soon over in Europe. So they better get their SHIT together. I'll tell you that right now. And I mean, we can't do anything about that. All we can do is just watch from a distance and pray that their leaders get replaced. And you can see the attacks on like the AFD in Germany, and like all the German people that I've spoken to are all hoping. They're all voting for the AFD. That's what they're telling me. I mean, I don't know anything about politics in Germany. I just know people who are there, who are subscribers that, they kept me in the know for a long time. Like, I trust them. There's no reason why I would not believe what they're telling me. All right, guys, we're at 1 hour and 18 minutes, so not too bad. And I'm sure lots of people will be watching on the replay, but I hope to have more people live on at the next Ask a Medium. The next live stream is going to be the All Tears on Saturday, and I am going to be doing another live stream on YouTube, and that'll be on Sunday, March 2nd. So I'll do the premium one before that on Saturday. But yeah, on Sunday, March 2nd, and then I'll do one for the Patreon and the members on the website. Like anybody who is following me at all, I'll do one for them as well. These are extra and over and above what I do with you guys. Thanks again so much for supporting me in my endeavor to, well, right now we're examining the blab, and between now and Saturday, I'm going to examine the blab and see if I can pull some more stuff out about Campi Flegrei and the explosion and the Pope and Rome and what's going on there. All right. And if you guys can think of any keywords, send that along. Keywords for that, because I'm gonna be typing in like Vatican, Pope, Campi Flegrei. Yeah. All right, guys. Bye for now.
C'est tout.